Good morning, children. Welcome to the second session for the lesson Animal Diversity 1 in the lecture series for Zoology First Year Intermediate. I am Vishnu Priya, Principal, TSMS Palmakla. Like yesterday, the speaker for this session is Mr. Shankar NAIK of TSMS Imampet. You may recall that previously we learned about the first two phyla of the invertebrates, namely Porifera and Cnidaria. I hope you have understood the characteristics of these two phyla. Today we will continue along with the next invertebrate phyla, namely Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, and Nematoda. The phylum Ctenophora comprises the largest animals having cilia that can swim in the ocean. Ctenophores are also known as comb jellies. Though these animals have a soft jelly-like body, their fossils have been well preserved in sedimentary rocks. Carbon dating shows that they have been existing almost 515 million years, making them one of the oldest animals living. They're voracious predators and can invade new territories. The phylum Platyhelminthes and Nematoda are mostly parasitic worms. Platyhelminths have flat bodies and hence they are called flatworms, and while nematodes have roundworms, are called roundworms due to their cylindrical body shape. We already learned about some of the parasitic infections caused in humans by nematodes, Ascaris lumbricoides and Wuchereria bancrofti, which cause ascariasis and elephantiasis respectively. Another interesting difference between these two worms is that platyhelminthes do not have a body cavity, whereas nematodes do. Thus, nematodes are evolutionary more advanced than platyhelminthes. Now, without further ado, I request Shankar sir to delve further into these phyla and help shed light about their special characteristics. Children, please listen carefully. And Shankar Naik sir, over to you. Please go ahead.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. First, good morning to all, and special thanks to Additional Director Sir, Joint Director Sir, Manjari Madam, Vijayalakshmi Madam, and my coordinator Vishnu Priya Madam. Thank you one and all, and good morning, children. Today we are going to start session. Before starting the session, so I will remind you what we have learned yesterday. Right now I'm sharing my slides, then after we'll start. Wait for a few minutes. Okay, students. So yesterday we have studied two phyla like Porifera and Cnidaria. So we have studied all the general characters of Porifera and Cnidaria in yesterday's class. Mostly we covered habit and habitat of their animals, digestive system, type, symmetry, reproduction, and different type of pores in Porifera, and neuroblast cells in Cnidaria, and canal system in the Porifera, so cylindron in Cnidaria, and different type of species, the scientific name and common name, all these we were studied in previous class. So today we are going to learn three important phyla called Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, and Nematoda. These three important phyla we are going to study today. Let us see first one, Ctenophora. Ctenophora is a third phylum which we are going to study. So Ctenophora animals are close relatives of Cnidarians. Yesterday we discussed Cnidarians. So these Ctenophora animals are close relatives of them. These animals commonly called as sea walnuts, comb jellies, and gooseberries. So as a science students, we can call them as ctenophores. But common people call them as sea walnuts, calm jellies, and gooseberries. So these three are common names of ctenophora. And ctenophora animals are exclusively marine. Exclusively marine means they can live in seas and oceans only. We cannot find them in freshwater. And these animals' symmetry is radial symmetry. Okay, so I told you in previous class, radial symmetry means when we cut through any plane, the individual comes into two equal halves. That symmetry is called as radial symmetry. We can see radial symmetry in ctenophora. And it has two germinal layers in its development. Ctenophora has two germinal layers. Therefore, it is called as diploblastic animal. As it has two germinal layers, ectoderm and endoderm, it's called as diploblastic animal. And the body organization permitted a tissue level organization, same as Cnidaria. And they have 8 external rows of ciliated complex. See, this is pleurobrachia, which belongs to Ctenophora phylum. When you see this diagram, okay, so this is pleurobrachia. Dorsal side of this pleurobrachia, you can see 8 external rows. So dorsal side 4 and ventral side 4. Dorsal and ventral side 4 plus 4, 8 completes are there. With help of these 8 completes, it can do locomotion. Okay, so these completes, 8 external completes, helps to glide the animal. Smoothly it can move. How? With the help of these 8 external rows of ciliated completes. And cnidoblast cells are absent in these animals. Just before I told you these animals are close relatives of Cnidaria. Though these animals are close relatives of Cnidaria, cnidoblast cells are absent. This is very important point. Try to remember, children. Cnidoblast cells are absent in these animals. Why? Cnidaria's very important characteristic is having cnidoblast cells. Having cnidoblast cells is a very important characteristic, one of the very important characteristics of Cnidarians. Though these animals have close relations with Cnidarians, cnidoblast cells are completely absent in these animals. And they possesses glue cells called lasso cells or coloblast cells. Cnidoblast cells are absent. But which cells present in these animals? Lasso cells are coloblasts. Coloblast cells are lasso cells are common in these animals. These coloblast cells helps in food capture. Okay, these coloblast cells helps to gather the food. When we see the digestion of these animals can show extracellular and intracellular digestion. So in previous class I explained, even though I can remind you, intracellular digestion means if the digestions take place inside the cell membrane of the cell. If the digestion is take place inside the cell membrane of the cell, then the digestion is called as intracellular digestion. If the digestion take place outside the cell membrane, by mixing hormones, enzymes and all these things, if the digestions take place outside the cell membrane, then that digestion is called as extracellular digestion. Bioluminescence is well marked in these animals. So bioluminescence is a common and very important character of these animals. So in lower classes, you have studied bioluminescence. Even though I can remind you once again, bioluminescence means emitting light from living organism. So see, here I have presented a diagram for you. This is a millipede diagram. This millipede is not belongs to this phylum. To understand bioluminescence, I have presented for you. When you see this millipede is glowing itself. Without any external help, it is glowing itself. If an organism glowing or emitting light itself, that property is called as bioluminescence. So bioluminescence is common in these animals. Try to remember, children, this is also important character. And these are monoecious, bisexual animals. Male part and female part situated in single individual. Therefore, these are called monoecious. And reproduction is sexual reproduction. Through sexual reproduction, it can reproduce. And fertilization is external. Fertilization is external. Fertilizations take place outside the body. Therefore, this fertilization is called as external fertilization. And development is indirect. After fertilizations, it can develop through indirect method. When the development is indirect, there should be a larva is present. That larva is called seedipede larva. That larva is called as seedipede larva. Example for this phylum, Pleurobrachia and Harmifora. Harmifora and Pleurobrachia are common example for these phylum. Let us see classification of Ctenophora. Based on arboreal tentacles, Ctenophora are classified into two classes. Okay, arboreal tentacles means from the mouth in opposite directions, two tentacles you are watching in this diagram, two tentacles. Having two tentacles from the mouth in equal distance, this is called as arboreal. These tentacles are called as arboreal tentacles. So based on arboreal tentacles, Ctenophora is classified into two classes, namely Tentaculata and Nuda. In Tentaculata animals, adults have two arboreal tentacles. See here, this Pleurobrachia belongs to Tentaculata. Here, this Ctenophora has two tentacles. But in Nuda, tentacles are absent, even in larval stage. In larval stage, in adult stage, in both stages, in their life, in their entire life, tentacles are absent. Tentaculata having arboreal tentacles. In Nuda, tentacles are completely absent. So these are two classes of Ctenophora. And best example for Tentaculata are Pleurobrachia and Ctenoblanda. And best example for Nuda is Biro. Okay, this is Biro and this is Pleurobrachia. Okay, so Ctenophora is a small phylum. Almost it is a minor phylum. The Ctenophora is over. Right now, we are entering into the phylum Platyhelminthes. Okay, since Platyhelminthes in Nematohelminthes or Nematoda is very important to understand, because these animals causes severe diseases to the human being. Platyhelminthes animals and Nematoda animals can cause serious diseases to human being. All these diseases, so most of these diseases, important diseases, you are studying in biology and human welfare lesson in detail. So let us see what are the common characters of Platyhelminthes. So here the first character is very important to understand and remember. It has triploblastic nature. Platyhelminthes animals have triploblastic nature. What is triploblastic nature? The nature of having three germinal layers in their development is called as triploblastic nature. What are those three germinal layers? Ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Having these three germinal layer is called as triploblastic. This nature is called as triploblastic nature. These animals are called as triploblastic animals. So triploblastic nature for the first time starting with Platyhelminthes. So in MCET or any competitive examination, examiner may ask this question. So try to remember. So when we see their body dorsoventrally flattened. So dorsally, ventrally flatten their body. Hence, these animals are called flatworms. So platyhelminthes are also called as flatworms. Why these are called as flatworms? Because dorso-ventrally flatten their body. Hence, these are called as flatworms. And these are bilaterally symmetrical. Their symmetry is bilateral symmetry. In previous classes, you have seen radial symmetry in Ctenophora. But in platyhelminthes, their symmetry is bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry means when we cut through a particular plane, then only these animals comes into two equal halves. So their symmetry is called as bilateral symmetry. And these are triploblastic animals. What is triploblastic nature? I have explained to you. And these are acoelomate animals. Coelom is absent in these animals. Therefore, these animals are called as acoelomate animals. And body is not segmented. So visually we can see segments in many animals. But in these animals, segments are absent. But segment-like structure appears. Segments are absent, but segment-like structure appears in these animals. That nature is called as pseudometamerism. Okay, having segment-like structure is called as pseudometamerism. And they show moderate cephalization. Moderate means when we compare to the previous phylum, somewhat extent. So moderate cephalization started. Okay, what is cephalization? Concentration of the sense organ and neurons control at anterior end of the body. Concentration of sense organs and neuron at anterior part of the body is called as cephalization. So they show moderate cephalization and also they can show unidirectional movement. The locomotion, so they cannot move in specific direction. They can move in zigzag way. Therefore, their locomotion is called as unidirectional locomotion. So having hooks and suckers, very important characters of these animals. See here, these are the hooks and these are the suckers. So Taenia solium I have presented for you. See, these spot-like structures are called as suckers and these are called as hooks. So with the help of these hooks and suckers, it can attach the animal. It can attach the surface and it can suck the blood or something else. It can suck the food. So hooks and suckers are important characters of platyhelminthes. So here it has mouth and anus clearly. The mouth and anus developed in these animals. When we see the nervous system of these animals, the nervous system is moderately developed. Moderately means here somewhat extend. Moderately means somewhat extend. Nervous system is also somewhat extended in these animals, moderately developed, and nerve cord form a ladder-like system. What is nerve cord? A dorsal tubular cord of neuron nervous tissue is called as nerve cord. Dorsal a tube-like structure. How it is formed due to neurons. This is called as nerve cord. Due to this nerve cord, a ladder-like structure forms in these animals. So nervous system is like this in these animals. So nervous system is moderately developed and nerve cord form a ladder-like structure. Specialized excretory cells are called flame cells. Okay. From excretion, we have some organs like kidneys and all these. But these primitive animals have flame cells for excretion. See here in these diagrams, you can see flame cells. Here, these are the flame cells of planaria. These flame cells helps to excrete the all unwanted substances of its body. They helps in osmoregulation and excretion. Okay, so flame cells helps in osmoregulation, also helps in excretion. So flame cells helps to prevent excess loss of waters, and it helps to excrete the substances. And these animals are monoecious, bisexual animals. The male and female organs situated in same individual. Therefore, these animals are called as monoecious. And fertilization is internal in these animals. Fertilization should be internal. Fertilization occurs inside the body. Therefore, fertilization is internal. And development is indirect. When indirect development comes, there should be larvae are there. Larvae are there. So when we see the larvae of these animals, these are the larvae of these animals: Miracidium, Sporocyst, Rhedia, and Cercaria. See, in this diagram, the first diagram is Rhedia, and second diagram is Sporocyst. The Rhedia and Sporocyst are larvae of flatworms. And polyembryony is common in liver fluid. Okay, what is the meaning of polyembryony? Formation of more than one embryo from a single fertilized ovum is called as polyembryony. Formation of more than one embryo. Okay, that phenomena is called as polyembryony. Polyembryony is a very common in liver fluke. Okay, liver fluke is one of the organisms which belongs to this phylum. In that liver fluke, polyembryony is common. What is polyembryony? Formation of more than one embryo from single fertilized ovum or egg or seed. And some members like planaria has high degree of regeneration capacity. In previous class, I told you what is the meaning of regeneration. Regeneration means if any organ cut or ampute itself, or by accidentally, or by something else, then that organ can regrow, replace, or regenerate. That process is called as regeneration. So in the world, planaria is the best example to explain regeneration and to show regeneration in video form even. When you type regeneration capacity of planaria in YouTube, many videos you can see. So regeneration have high degree of regenerations in these animals. So here in these diagrams you are watching planaria. These planaria are cut into many parts. Every part regrown again. So grown up the individual into adult. Okay, this is about regeneration. Examples for this phylum: Teniasolium, Fasciola hepatica, Cystosoma hematobium, and Ducacia. These are the few examples for this phylum. Classification. When we see the classification of these animals, phylum Platyhelminth is classified into three classes as mentioned below. Class 1, Turbellaria. Class 2, Trematoda. Class 3, Cystoda. So three classes are there: Turbellaria, Trematoda, and Cystoda. Let us see Turbellaria first. Turbellaria. They are mostly free living animals. They are mostly free living animals. And segments are absent in these animals. In Turbellarians, segments are absent. They are free living animals, and body wall has cilia and mucus forming structures called rhabditis. I think this is a new word for you, rhabditis. Try to remember what is rhabditis. Specialized secretory granules. These are specialized secretory granules. It forms mucus and helps in glide the animal. Okay, body wall has cilia and mucus forming structure. What is that? Rhabditis. So, body wall has cilia as well rhabditis. And reproduction takes place by sexual and asexual method. Through these two methods, it can reproduce, sexual method and asexual method. Development is indirect development. As it has indirect development, it should be present larva. The name of that larva is Muller's larva. See in these diagrams, this is Muller's larva. So in many competitive exams, this question asked Muller's larva. Okay. Muller's larva is a larva of flatworms. Try to remember. The example for this class, Dugacia and Convoluta. Class 2, Trematoda. Second class is Trematoda. They are commonly called as flukes. The animals which belongs to Trematoda class, all those called as flukes. These are parasitic animals. Cystoda animals are free living animals, and these Trematoda animals are parasitic animals. What does it mean? Parasitic animal means they depend on other animals for food, shelter or reproduction or something else. For these purposes, these animals can depending on other animals. Which animal can depending on other? That animal is called as parasitic animals. Body is covered by thick cuticle. Their body should be covered by thick cuticle. This cuticle protect from outer environment. This cuticle should be covered from outer environment, unfavorable environment. And they have two suckers. See here, sucker 1 and sucker 2. It has two suckers. And mouth is anterior. Intestine is bifurcated. Their intestine is bifurcated, divided into two. And these animals are monoecious animals. Monoecious means bisexual animals. We cannot see male and female separately. And development is indirect development. And larvae are Miracidium, Sporocyst, Redia and Circipede. These larvae belongs to Trematoda. And best example for Trematoda are Fasciola hepatica. The common name of Fasciola hepatica is liver fluke. Try to remember, children. The common name of Fasciola hepatica is liver fluke. And Schistosoma hematobium, common name is blood fluke. Liver fluke and blood fluke belongs to this class. In biology and human welfare, you will study why it is called as liver fluke, why it is called as blood fluke, what is the impact of these animals on human being. All this you can study in biology and human welfare. The third class is Cystoda. Third and last one is Cystoda. Cystoda animals commonly called as tapeworms. These animals are commonly called as what? Tapeworms. See, this is looking like a tape. Therefore, this arm is called as tapeworm. Here in this diagram, tinea solum is there. How this tinea solum is appearing? It's look like tape. Therefore, these animals are called as tapeworms. All are endoparasites. Based on side parasites, we can classify into two, endo and ecto. Endoparasites and ectoparasites. Ectoparasites means the parasites which appear outside the body or on body surface. Those animals are called as ectoparasites. Endoparasite means the parasites which live inside the host body. These parasites lives inside the host body. Therefore, these parasites are called as endoparasites. The cystoda animals are endoparasites live inside the host body. And their body is covered by syncytial tegment. Syncytial means cytoplasmic mass. Tegment means a layer. So body is covered by a syncytial tegment. And they show pseudometamerism. Pseudometamerism means segment-like structures appears on their body surface, but those segments are not true segments. They're just like proglatids in annelid. So this is called as pseudometamerism. They show pseudometamerism. And scolex bear hooks, suckers and bothridia. See, this is scolex. This scolex has hooks, suckers and bothridia. What is the function of hooks? What is the function of suckers? What is the function of bothridia? You can study in biology and human welfare. However, these organs used to hold the surface and get the food. So this is the important functions of these three organs: hooks, suckers and bothridia. What is bothridia? Bothridia is a leaf-like outgrowth. In one previous exam, in one competitive exam asked what is bothridia. Bothridia is nothing but a leaf-like outgrowth appears in Cystoda class of platyhelminthes or flatworms. That is the answer. And larva is cysticercus larva. In Cystoda, cysticercus larva is present. This cysticercus larva is also called as bladder worm. The best example for these animals, for this Cystoda, are Taeniasolium and Echinococcus granulosus. The Taeniasolium common name is pork tapeworm and Echinococcus granulosus common name is dark tapeworm. Pork tapeworm, dark tapeworm. What is pork tape? What is dark tape? Okay, you can study in detail in biology and human welfare. So these are the animals, example for Cystoda class and platyhelminthes. Okay, so far we have studied Ctenophora and platyhelminthes. You have studied the common characters of Ctenophora and you have studied the common characters of platyhelminthes. Right now we are entering in Nematoda. Nematoda is a fifth phylum in Animal Diversity 1. So Nematoda, the phylum Nematoda is also called as Aschelminthes. See, when you see the CBSE book, NCERT book, instead of Nematoda they mentioned Aschelminthes. But in our Telugu Academy mentioned Nematoda, but in CBSE book mentioned Aschelminthes. So Aschelminthes and Nematoda, same. Nematoda is a new name, Aschelminthes is a old name. So nematode is circular in cross section since it is called roundworms. Nematoda or Aschelminthes animals are also called as roundworms. In previous class, platyhelminthes are called as flatworms. In this phylum, in previous phylum, animals called as flatworms, as their body dorsoventrally flattened, they are called as flatworms. Nematoda animals circular in cross section, hence these are called as roundworms. When we cut it animal and see their body, their cross section round in shape. Therefore, these animals are called as what? These animals are called as roundworms. They may be free living or parasitic on plantain animals. So the animals which belongs to Nematoda, few are free living animals. But most of the animals are parasitic animals. Few are on plants and few are on animals. So however, these are free and parasitic animals. And these animals are aquatic or terrestrial. Aquatic means few animals can live in water and few animals can live on ground. live both in water and ground. In water and on ground. Therefore, they are aquatic or terrestrial. Terrestrial means if the animals lives on the ground, that is called as terrestrial. If the animal live in water, that is called as aquatic. So this is most important characters of these animals. That is, these animals have organ system level of organization. These animals promote it. So from tissue level to organ level, promoted from tissue level to organ level, organ system level. So all the cells comes together and form tissue. All the tissue comes together and form organ. Poriferan animals permitted at cell level. Rest of the phylum, what we discussed, permitted at tissue level. But these nematoda, their body organization is organ system level of organization. Organs for the first time formed in these animals. They have organ system level of organization. And they are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic and pseudocoelomate animals. Pseudocoelomate. The false coelom is present in these animals. Coelom is not fully developed. A coelom like structure appears, that is called false coelom or pseudocoelom. Therefore, these animals are called as pseudocoelomate animals. In examinations, in competitive examinations, examiner may ask which animals are called as pseudocoelomate animals. Then you have to answer nematoda or askelman. These animals are pseudocoelomate animals. And body unsegmented and covered by collagenous cuticle. Okay, body is covered by a thick cuticle. It is a unique characters of these animals. And epidermis is syncytial. Their alimentary canal is complete with mouth, pharynx and anus. Mouth is present, pharynx is present and anus is present in these animals. The alimentary canal is constituted with mouth, pharynx and anus. When we see the excretory system, there is a specialized gland is there. That gland is called Renate gland. Excretory system has excretory gland. That gland is called as Renate gland. Some ducts are there along with Renate gland. So excretory system has excretory glands is called Renate gland and it has ducts. When you see the nervous system consists a nerve ring. Okay, with ganglia and nerves. A nerve ring forms with the help of ganglia and nerves. This is about nervous system of nematodes. Amphids and phasmids are sense organs in these animals. Having amphids and phasmids, these are important characters of these animals, having amphids and phasmids. And sexes are separate, so they are called dioecious. Try to remember, children. So far, almost all the animals, what we have studied, all those animals are monoecious. But nematode are dioecious animals. Why the nematodes are called as dioecious? Because male and female individuals are separate. Male is separate and female is separate. The female reproductive organs situated in female individual and male reproductive organs situated in male individual. Like these animals are called as unisexual. All the previous animals are called as bisexual or monoecious. These animals are called as bisexual because male and female separate. Okay, sexes are separate, these animals are called as dioecious. Please try to remember dioecious started. And they exhibit sexual dimorphism. So male and female. So when we see, usually female are always longer than male. Female is always longer than male. Okay. Moreover, the posterior part of this male coil. So this is called sexual dimorphism. When we see the male and female, morphologically we can see the differences between male and female. Try to remember, female is always longer than male. And male's posterior end should be coil. Male have curved posterior and with cloacal aperture. Okay, for the reproductive purpose, defecatory purpose, there is an opening is there that is called cloacal aperture. It has cloacal aperture at end of the posterior end. And it has one or two copulatory or pineal spicules. Okay. So these copulatory or pineal spicules used to facilitate transmission of the sperms into female. And fertilization should be occur inside the body, therefore fertilization is internal. And majority are oviparous and few are viviparous. So you know what is oviparous and viviparous. So oviparous means young one developed inside the egg, later it hatch and comes out. That is called oviparous. Example, Oscaris. And few are viviparous. Viviparous means egg one developed directly into the womb. That is called viviparous. If egg one develops inside the womb, that is called viviparous. If the egg one developed inside the egg, that is called oviparous. Oscaris is best example for oviparous and Ucheridia is best example for viviparous. Development may be direct or indirect. In some animals, development is direct. Direct means larval stage is absent, and in few animals, development is indirect. There should be present larva. Young one is called juvenile. The baby of these animals is called as juvenile. Typically, after 4 moltings, after 4 shedding, juvenile turns into adult. After 4 molting, what happens? Juveniles turns into adult. Best example for these animals are Oscaris, Ucheridia branchopti, and Ankylostoma duodenum. Let us see classification. When we see the classification, there are 2 classes are there. Those are Ephasmedia and Phasmedia. Ephasmedia and Phasmedia. Let us see Ephasmedia first. Based on sense organs, these animals are classified into 2 classes. Let us see Ephasmedia first. In the members of this class, amphids are highly modified, but phasmids are absent. In this Ephasmedia, amphids are highly modified, but phasmids are absent. Example for this class, Trichomella, Trichuris. Trichomella common name is Trichinaworm. Trichuris common name is Whipworm. Next, class 2, Phasmedia. In these members of the class, amphids are simple and phasmids are present. Excretory system is well developed in Phasmedia. The example for Phasmedia are Oscaris, Ankylostoma, Ucheridia. Ascaris lumbricoides common name is roundworm. Ankylostoma duodenal common name is hookworm. Ucheridia bancrofti common name is filarial worm. See in this diagram, you can see Ankylostoma duodenal. A small diagram I have presented for you. This is called Ankylostoma duodenal. Okay. This is about nematoda. Okay. So I can recap you again. So these 3 phylums we have studied so far. So Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, and Nematoda over for you. I can recap again. When we see the ctenophora, they shows bioluminescence. Try to remember bioluminescence is important characters of ctenophora animals. Insect pneumoplast, they have lasso cells. This is also one of the important characters of these animals, having lasso cells. Okay, when you see the platyhelminthes, platy means flat, helminth means warm. Therefore, these are called as platyhelminthes. These are aquatic and terrestrial and endoparasites. They are longest flatworm. Few flatworms length is about 90 centimeters like that. So most of the animals are the lengthy animals. These are the triploblastic animals. Flatworms are triploblastic animals, and coelom is absent in these animals. Gastrovascular cavity is present. Okay, in some countries like Indonesia and some countries like Planaria used to prevent the mosquitoes also. So it has some economical property. And okay, you know, these are the triploblastic, isodomates and bilaterally symmetrical, and organ level of organization is present in flatworms. And most of the animals are endoparasites. When you see the Askelmanthes, okay, so nematoda means thread-like animals. Okay, in Greek, nematoda means thread-like animals. These are also called as roundworms, and usually these are parasitic. Okay, usually these are parasitic animals, and these are triploblastic. Coelom evolution started in nematoda. Just evolution started regarding coelom evolution started in nematoda, and bilateral symmetry and shows sexual dimorphism, and most are human parasites. Nematodes, most of the nematodes are human parasites. This is about a recapitulation of these three phyla. Okay, and okay, this is about these three phylums. Okay, try to remember, children. These three phylums are important for both MCET and IPE examination. Okay. So important 4-mark questions is, what is the class to which the flutes belong? Write short notes on the chief characters of the group. This is a important 4-mark question. And each and every bit, each and every line, this synopsis is very important for all the 4 marks, 2 marks and MCET NEET purposes. Okay. Thank you, one and all. Thank you. The session is over. Thank you, madam. Thank you, students.
Thank you, sir, for the clear, detailed explanation of the three phyla, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, and Nematoda. I'm sure all the children have understood the general characteristics and classification very clearly. I request all the students to read the relevant sections in the textbook thoroughly, watch this video again, and make notes. Thank you, sir, for this presentation, and thanks to all the students for attending. I hope all the students find these sessions useful and continue to participate in large numbers in the future as well. Students may please subscribe the Model Schools Telangana YouTube channel to stay updated with the latest subject content. Thank you once again, sir. Shankar sir, thank you.
Thank you so much, madam. Thank you. Thanks for giving this opportunity to me. Thank you so much. Thank you, Varendal.